Well, I did say I'd be talking about the show this weekend, and Friday's technically the start of it, and also Hoagland is the best Superman we've had since Reeve Sean. I believe Jack Quaid would like a word with you. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to my first impressions on the new animated series My Adventure with Superman. And now that I've seen the third episode, my interview with Superman, which I usually tend to take at least 3 to 5 episodes to determine whether or not I like something and want to talk about it. And I definitely can say I absolutely do, and I absolutely would like to. So let's go over this and find out how to reinvent a hero. I can honestly say that even as someone who's looking forward to this show before, now that I have seen it start after it started, it's probably the best Superman animated show since the animated series ended 23 years ago. Granted, it's probably the only one we've seen that's been since that happened, part of it, but most of it is because the show is quite good, and I especially like its unique take on the mythos and how it also reimagines the character in a way that I think definitely makes sense. I mean, a lot of people ask the question, what is the character Superman in a post MCU, post DCEU, post Dark Knight Trilogy age? The answer would apparently be to get that question in the story, where a large part of the fun is and the drama comes from Clark just trying to balance his day-to-day life, as well as trying to focus his powers and all the threats going on. It is equal parts both a superhero action adventure series and also a bit of workplace comedy. I actually really like the idea of Clark and his co-workers Lois and Jimmy being coded as a bit younger and less experienced than they typically are in most recent story, trying to figure out how to do all this. Yeah. On that subject, I also really like how Alice Lee and Ishmael Saeed respectively portray Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, really capturing the sense of optimism, and I'm not sure if that can go so far as to say they're my favorite version of characters just yet, but I would definitely can say I've added them both to lists, respectively. I mean, of the ones I have seen in my lifetime. I mean, how. And also, I'm not the only one who's made this observation, but they don't just look like older versions of Luz and Jimmy and Luz and Gus from the Owl House, but they also act like that as well. I did say I'd be open to more if the opportunity arose. I never said how, but I could totally imagine these being like Luz and Gus acting like this as they're older, especially after the form gets their degree. Yeah. The writing and visual presentation also seem to reflect this, and on top of reimagining concepts from that go as far back of the Golden Age and Silver Age stories of the character, even some things that are rooted in stories written right after Action Comics #1 was published 85 years ago. Wow. Oh, so really leaning into the science fiction aspects, and also how it's not that Clark doesn't really have his powers, it's just that he hasn't learned how to fully focus them yet. They actually managed to show this fairly early on in the beginning, where just on a whim, there's a car that spins out of control near his farmhouse. He springs to action, stopping from crashing, him leaping to get his kite out of a tree, and as he flies in the air, he asks himself who he truly is. And when we see the 20-something Clark, he breaks his alarm clock slightly by touching it, rips off a faucet in one of his running shoes, and also breaks the door of a convenience store as well. And just the way that Quay portrays him, and also he's just a big goofball in that civilian form. I love him for that. Yeah. This also extends to the allusions to the Rogues Gallery and other aspects of the DC Universe, which this is a taste we're going to be in for James Gunn's reboot of the franchise, in 2025. Hi, barring how these dual strikes go, I'm all for it. I mean, we're not just seeing allusions to well-known ones like Lex Luthor and Vicky Vale, but also we have stuff like Intergang, stuff like Amazo, and we also hear Jimmy reference both Star and Jotunheim in the very first episode. And another sign that really enjoyed it, that I ended up watching these multiple more times before I started to record this video, and I will definitely be more than happy to welcome them into my rotation, because on top of like the premieres like at Thursdays at midnight, they have prime time encores the following Friday on Max, as well as being leading up to the new Toonami. More than happy to include my rotation in One Piece, My Hero Academia, and even like everything the art direction to the writing owes much to Horikoshi and Toriyama as they do who to Siegel and Schuster. Because if I had to, one of the things I had to say that if I was asked how I would modernize Superman, my answer probably closest to somewhere between Midoriya and All Might, of course. I mean, yeah, I believe that it is possible to support both the silliness, the source material, and tell a serious story set in this day and age. I mean, and as with some people having a beef with how they redesigned Slade, I get the feeling he's not gonna have that hair or her or the other eye very long. I mean, I also don't mind them hinting at Task Force X as well as Waller. I mean, even though I understand why they're not doing a third movie right now, how they're still doing the series, well, I can understand. Again, after they settle these dual strikes going on. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed things like how they redesigned Jarrell. Apparently, he was based on Big Boss from Metal Gear, and also had telling the origin story in non-linear fashion. I'm very eager to see where all this goes, and even reimagining stuff like how the first encounter and him being disguised as longshoreman, a stock worker in the first fight, and also how the handle characters like Livewire being a bit more clever but still a bit as lethal as were character had in previous adaptations. And I'm very interested to see where all this goes, since especially since they already greenlit a second season, so I would presume that it's quite popular already. Something on all ages kind of material, so it's a natural progression with how the DCE, which had appealed to both younger individuals as well as like older fans, and in the comic lore as well as the quality of the show itself. So yes, I would definitely recommend this show quite strongly. I can definitely, hey, even though I'm not really into Superman Lois, at least I'm trying to understand his appeal. But this, I'm all over. Yeah. Anyway, hey, this will be all for now, and still gonna get my Oppenheimer ticket. And on that note, even with all the current boofara going on with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, I still have another mission this weekend, and yes, I do decide to accept it. Just have to wait and see what it all entails. That will be all for now, and take care, everyone.